Hi everyone, congratulations, you made it to your last dot point of the study design for Unit 3. I'm really proud of all of you. Today we're looking at recommended reforms, not recent reforms, but recommended reforms. There's another video on recent reforms. Recommended reforms are the concept of suggestions to improve the criminal justice system that haven't necessarily been put in place. Okay, so they haven't been through like a bill through Parliament. They're only suggestions of how to improve things in the future. You need to be able to link these to the principles of justice. So you need to be able to tell me 2 recommendations or recommended reforms and how they achieve the principles of justice. Okay, so the first recommended reform we're looking at is an increase in VLA funding. Now you can't see it behind my head, but Victorian legal aid funding. VLA funding. This was recommended by the Law Council of Australia in 2018. What it is an additional boost in funding for both legal aid and CLC around Australia. The Justice Project, which is part of the Law Council, recommended that around $390 million per year for increase in legal aid funding across Australia. So you can see here that it's actually a countrywide recommended reform. However, this has implications for Victoria. And you'll just need to specify how it has implications for Victoria. So in regards to Victorian legal aid, what this would mean is there'd be more grants of legal assistance for the accused, so increased lawyers to be able to be used, which means that more people could stand trial, more accused people could stand trials, and more offenders who wish to appeal their conviction or sentence can actually do it with a representation. With increased funding, it may allow the VLA to reduce their strict eligibility requirement so more people can access the justice system. And lastly, with increased funding, it means that CLCs are able to provide more of that low-level assistance for minor legal issues. So more information, more lawyers making suggestions. Okay, so just a reminder, funding is for across Australia. However, it does have implications for Victoria. So how does that relate to justice? One of the ways it increases fairness, it means that the accused is able to present their case in the best possible light. We know that people who can't afford lawyers or legal representation aren't able to do that. So it improves fairness by allowing someone to test the prosecution's evidence, explain any mitigating factors when they're being sentenced. So it's all about promoting that fair hearing. The way it improves equality is obviously if people have legal assistance, it means they're going to be on the same playing field as the defendant, which means that regardless of the individual's background, they will have legal assistance, which will allow them to present their case at the same level as another person. And lastly, with more access to lawyers, what it means is that it will increase people's ability to get advice and information to the accused about their legal rights and the court processes involved. So it's increasing legal rights and court processes and an understanding. How it does not achieve fairness, it doesn't really focus on anything else in relation to a fair trial. So, for example, your jury's still going to be biased. And also this funding may not likely occur because the Commonwealth is currently decreasing funding to it. How it may decrease or not achieve equality, still many people will not be able to access legal representation if they can't pass the means test. So while the boost does improve the support, it doesn't fully increase equality across the legal system. And lastly, it doesn't tackle anything to do with language barriers or police interviews. So we're not really providing like interpreters, for example. So even if you've got that lawyer, doesn't mean you necessarily understand the words that are being explained to you. Okay, the second recommended reform is abolishing, and you can't see it again behind my head, jury challenges. Okay, so currently there is a small number of challenges that a lawyer can make for a jury pool, 3. So basically they can do a preemptory challenge where they don't have to state why they might reject someone for the jury. They can just do it. They don't have to give excuses. This reform is suggesting we should abolish the ability to preemptory challenge jury members. This recommended reform is by the VLRC. It was in 2014. So the call here is to basically get rid of any type of challenges. How does this improve? What is this tackling? Well, I guess the idea here is you can see that in 2017, 56% of men were on the jury compared to 44% of women, so we can already see an unequal amount. And if you can see up in the corner here, this is 2018, 69.5% of women are actually challenged before getting onto the jury compared to 30% of men. So you can see there's a bit of inequality about jury or preemptory challenges. Okay, so how does this achieve access? Well, currently preemptory challenges are only based on physical appearance and occupation, which means it's open to bias. So by abolishing it, we're actually reducing the bias overall in a jury system. It improves equality because it reduces parties from being able to skew representation of the jury. So, for example, have more men than women or have more white people, for example. So it's preventing that skewing, so it allows for a more equal jury. And lastly, by removing the jury challenges, we're actually reducing delays to the whole process, which means more people can go through the justice system. How it does not achieve justice, well, if the prosecution thinks that someone is particularly biased, they're unable to remove them, for example, or the defense thinks someone's particularly biased, there's no way to remove them. And related to equality, even if you are reducing delays for both access and equality, even if you are reducing delays, there's only a small number of jury trials compared to the majority of court cases. So it's not really reducing that many or large waiting times in, say, the magistrate's court. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Bye.